Manchester City has completely dominated English club football for the past several years. But in the early 2000s, the idea of Man City becoming a top Premier League team would have seemed outlandish to the average football fan. So what was the catalyst that propelled this team from a constant cycle of relegation and promotion in and out of the Premier League to one of the big six clubs of English football? You're watching Wealthy Buddha, and today we're discussing the influence of oil money in sports around the world and what it means for the future of football. Manchester City traces its history to a football team founded in 1880 by members of St. Mark's Church in Manchester. That team became Ardwick Association Football Club in 1887 and then Manchester City Football Club in 1894. For over 100 years, the club moved among the top tiers of English football, regularly suffering relegation and winning promotion. The turning point for City came in 2008, when the Abu Dhabi United Group, or ADUG, owned by billionaire Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan, purchased a controlling stake in the club. Manchester City became the richest team in the world overnight, leaving City fans stunned at their good fortune, and ADUG immediately went to work revolutionizing every aspect of the club. They got busy in the transfer market and spent over £500 million on players in the 5 years following Mansour's takeover. Notable players who joined City during this time include Sergio Aguero, Yaya Toure, David Silva, and later in 2015, Kevin De Bruyne. ADUG also developed the club off the field, spending £150 million on a state-of-the-art first-team training and youth development facility. In a rather brilliant move, they also created the City Football Group, an international conglomerate of clubs bearing the City name, which they would use to scout promising talent from around the globe. CFG also spearheaded an initiative to inflate City's global media presence in order to expand their fan base and garner new sponsorships. All of these investments led the team to an astonishing number of victories, the likes of which City hadn't seen in over 40 years, including winning the FA Cup in 2011, as well as multiple Premier League and League Cup titles. Manchester City's newfound success caught the attention of notorious trophy-winning manager Pep Guardiola, who signed on to coach the club in 2016. Pep immediately went to work doling out Sheikh Mansour's cash to bring in new talent, including Ilkay Gundogan, Leroy Sané, Gabriel Jesus, and John Stones, spending over £160 million in his first year with the team. Man City finished third in the Premier League that season, an all-time low for Pep, but things were just ramping up. For the following 2017-2018 season, Mansour dished out a whopping £268 million to bring in Kyle Walker, Bernardo Silva, Aymeric Laporte, and goalkeeper Ederson, among others. City won the Premier League that season, as well as 4 out of the 5 seasons that have followed, and have continued to dominate the scene in English football, making the club unrecognizable from the one that Sheikh Mansour originally took over. Pep has also continued to spend massive amounts of money on talent, bringing in Riyad Mahrez, Rodri, Ruben Diaz, and Erling Haaland, all for over £50 million each, as well as breaking the Premier League record for most expensive transfer when City spent £100 million to bring on Jack Grealish from Aston Villa in 2021. Overall, Pep has spent over £1 billion on new players in the transfer market since he joined the club in 2016, and the massive success City has seen since then speaks for itself. But it hasn't all been a bed of roses for City since their Abu Dhabi transformation. Pep's massive spending sprees have been heavily criticized by other Premier League clubs, although he's been quick to point out that Man City actually places quite low in the net spend table in England over the last 5 years. But that isn't the worst of City's financial woes. Earlier this year, the Premier League charged Manchester City with over 100 breaches of their rules, including rules regarding financial fair play, for a time period spanning from 2009 to 2018. According to financial fair play regulations, English football clubs are not allowed to spend much more than they earn in a single year, in order to discourage financial mismanagement, which can have serious consequences for clubs and their fans alike if they were to ever go under. The allegations against Man City include 2 core sponsorship deals which were allegedly misrepresented in City's financial statements. First, the statements included a deal with Emirati telecommunications company Etisalat from 2012 onwards, when in fact it was Sheikh Mansour himself that was arranging the payments, a total of £30 million through ADUG, and Etisalat didn't actually pay anything until 2015, although they apparently reimbursed the money to ADUG at that time. Another sponsorship from Etihad Airways, an airline in UAE for which Man City's stadium is named after, was being reported as income worth £35 million, £65 million, and £67.5 million in the 3 seasons spanning from 2012 to 2016. Allegedly, only £8 million a year was being paid by the airline, with the rest being covered by ADUG. The more serious allegations against Man City by the Premier League include allegations of fraud and failure to cooperate, and they highly correlate with the charges brought by UEFA against Man City in 2020, for which City was banned from the Champions League for 2 years and fined €30 million, before the Court of Arbitration for Sport overturned the ban and reduced the fine to €10 million, stating that the breaches were time-barred, meaning that they happened too long ago for UEFA to do anything about them. However, Premier League rules do not include a time bar, so it's possible that City could face a harsher punishment from their home league if they are to be found guilty. Many football fans are divided when it comes to financial fair play rules and regulation of the Premier League in general. While the rules are stated to protect clubs from financial collapse, they also run the risk of maintaining a sort of elitism among football clubs by limiting rapid spending from smaller clubs that bring in less revenue, meaning that the biggest clubs will always remain at the top of the table. Manchester City is the greatest example of a team with more humble beginnings that was finally able to break into the top of the pack due to the hundreds of millions Sheikh Mansour was willing to pour into the club. Since the Premier League is self-governed and makes decisions through its members, of which each team has a share, it could appear as if the other 19 teams in the EPL are taking an issue with Manchester City, the most successful club of recent times, which begs the question of whether the Premier League should have an independent regulator to prevent bias. The English government has even had to weigh in with their own opinions on whether or not the Premier League is able to effectively self-regulate. Manchester City's Gulf State takeover isn't a unique story by any means in today's time. The most popular French club, Paris Saint-Germain, is owned by the Qatari royal family, whereas Man City's league mates Sheffield United and Newcastle United have 50% and 80% Saudi Arabian ownership, respectively. Along with Qatar hosting the 2022 World Cup, it seems as if oil-rich nations are increasingly shifting the center of the world's game from Europe to the Persian Gulf. And this trend isn't just limited to football either. Live Golf is a professional golf league launched in 2021 by Saudi Arabia to compete with the PGA Tour, and it has already been able to sign players from the PGA due to the enormous contracts they are offering. While owners such as Sheikh Mansour have been praised for revolutionizing their teams and modernizing them at staggering rates while still keeping the club's community values intact, critics of these Gulf League nation investments have accused them of using sports as a means to improve their reputation and public image, also known as sports washing. With the recent signing of Cristiano Ronaldo to Saudi Arabian club Al Nassr and Karim Benzema following suit, there may well come a time in the not-so-distant future when Middle Eastern club football is able to elevate their world presence, and could even begin to carve into Europe's long-held dominance in club football. What do you think of the growing influence of oil money in sports around the world? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and from all of us here at Wealthy Buddha, thanks for watching.